Is Em talking in this too or not? No, just us.
No, but if you want to say something, by the way, we've short a mic, so I can flick it over to you if you want.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Thanks.
So yeah, let's kick things off. I mean, we've spoken to Emily earlier on, and I think Emily had such an incredible story of her accident over in Peru. And Emily's parents actually here this morning, Ron and Janet. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, this must have, I mean, it's obviously flipped your life upside down. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about what it was like in that first phone call when Emily was in Peru?
Okay. Hope I don't get emotional. Like every time you talk about it, it sort of brings it back to the core and how raw it still is. It was a Wednesday afternoon. I remember that, and I was in the vegetable garden with my second daughter Hannah. And we were just talking about Emily, and I said, I haven't heard from her. She said, don't worry, Mum, you know what we're like when we travel. We forget to call you. And I said, yeah, but she was going to call me today. And with that, I went inside, and I had a missed call from an unknown number on my phone. And I thought, oh. And then it rang again, and it was a lady I hadn't met, but it was Emily's best friend, George's mum. And as soon as she said who she was, I knew something was wrong. And she just said there's been an accident and involved Emily, but you just need to sit down and you need to take these details. She didn't know a lot either. She just had a phone number for me to call in Peru, and it all started from there. She said Emily had fallen through a roof, and I thought she said off a roof. I thought, oh my God, what was she doing? But then she said, no, she's fallen through a roof's collapsed and she's gone through, and that was how it all started.
Wow, because and also you guys weren't able to get over there until about a week later, wasn't it?
Well, it was just before Christmas, so it was the 15th of December. So trying to get a flight out of Australia was really hard. We have a girlfriend who works in travel, so she worked around the clock for 24 hours and finally got us a flight that had been cancelled and got us over there. I think it took 24 hours. So, yeah.
And Ron, what was it like when, you guys first stepped into the hospital, seeing Emily like that?
Yeah, very emotional. It had been a long and taxing few days in Australia before we got out, with trying to get hold of Australian diplomats to help out and everything over there. So, and obviously we hadn't slept for days, and to walk in, it was we travelled a bit when we were young, so that's why the girls did, and it was quite a backward type of hospital, so not third world, but not good. And to walk in and see, I didn't recognise her. I walked straight past her. She was just all swollen from a recent surgery, and so it was very, very, very daunting. But we sort of, and I think we only got to see him for a couple of minutes then.
Yeah, she'd just come in, weren't sure what was happening at the time, because when we left Sydney they'd rang to say her kidneys were failing, and we don't know what they're going to do next. They put off the operation, and so we're in the air with no contact for all that time. And
then once we're in Chile waiting for the next flight, and the same thing, she's got a bleed, they're going to take her kidney, and the language barrier was very difficult. We didn't speak Spanish, but very luckily Emily had a couple of really good friends that she was travelling with who knew enough Spanish to get things across, so that was a massive help.
And now, Ron, you were actually faced with a pretty hard decision, the decision to actually fly to actually get on a plane.
Yeah, well, we sort of sat there and we're sitting in the room, I think it was midnight, and just said to Janet, we have to get her out, and my phone bill was about $4,000 for a week. It was just, but that was, it had to happen. It had to happen. But
So tell us about that flight, because obviously, I mean, there was a pretty high risk that Emily wouldn't walk again after that flight. So, I mean, it's a long flight as well. So how were you feeling during the flight? Were you scared? Were you nervous?
Everything was an arm wrestle. The Peru people were fantastic, but they're limited by the cost of things and what they've got, and they're living their life. But the whole thing was an arm wrestle. The wrong ambulance came to take Emily. It was just in an old van that had nothing but they slid a trolley in, no painkillers, roads
No
that
air
had potholes, no air conditioning. They got to the airport, we'd wave goodbye at the hospital. I had to go commercial flights to get there. There wasn't enough room on the Learjet with the medical team. And at that stage I didn't even really know that it was a Learjet, or I didn't know it was a chopper or a plane or what was coming. And then I got a phone call from Janet at the airport saying there's no plane, what are we doing here? We're out in the middle of a car park. And
And no one could speak English except for Emily and I, not one person. Yeah, we'd been taken by the wrong ambulance and no one was there for us. So we sat in the heat with Emily with no painkillers for another 2 hours. Once we got on the flight and we took off, the pressure for Emily, it made all her legs swell and she just started screaming in pain. And the doctor and nurse didn't know what to do, and I could tell they were starting to panic. They were looking at each other as if to say, what are we going to do here now? And I'm thinking, oh my God, Emily and I were crying because we'd finally left that country and we're in the air and it's like we're going to have to land again because they couldn't control it. So they just kept injecting her and with painkillers, and they said, just go with us, Janet, we've got to knock her out. We've got to get on top of this. So they finally knocked her out, and then that's when they started to say to me, we're worried about these legs, because they were wrapped up in white bandages from her thigh down, and they said there's more injuries here than just a broken back. But it was amazing when we got there. It was just a sudden relief. Like the ambulance, when we landed, radioed ahead to the trauma unit, and they said we're waiting. And when we got there, I'm not sure if Emily remembers, but the doors just opened and it was like something out of the movies. It was like, I guess 20 doctors and nurses all in their white gowns that were just there. They had specialists for everything. So they just took me away and said, we need to start from the top and work our way down. And it all just began then. And
wow. I guess also coming back to Australia and, you know, Emily's come back to a completely different life as well to what she left. How has your life changed, and as a family unit, how has it changed?
Yeah, it was, if I said it's been easy, that would be a very big lie.
Yeah.
But we got back and our youngest daughter was doing HSC that year, and so Janet didn't really come home from Melbourne for another 3 months. But I'm in rehab, so we used to meet at halfway between here and Melbourne. I'd go down on Friday night, Janet would come home for the weekend, and then we'd swap high-five each other on the Sunday afternoon. And so we did that for a few months, but yeah, that turned it upside down. But it's sort of Janet's been fantastic with Em, and look, Em's been fantastic for us. She's been a rock. It's been hard, very hard for her, but that's sort of helped us.
Yeah, well, as a father, how's it been seeing your daughter go into a wheelchair and then her dramatic, you know, as she's gotten better in health and her spirits grow? Like, how's it been watching her journey?
It's been fantastic and hard and frustrating and upsetting and all in one. She's to see how much exercise, how much thought she puts into it, even on the bad days, she still does something. She has to do something, and it's admiration. Look, she came a long way to what doctors said very early. We were only getting maybe an hour's rehab a day in Melbourne. We'd have to go in with Emily for another 3 hours, and just little bit, and everyone's been amazed in the medical profession how she's got to where she is. So it's probably just a few things. The healing now, she's caught up, but the healing has got to catch up to where she wants to get. So it's sort of patience time now for her, which is difficult. Yeah.
So obviously you guys are, you know, looking after a fair bit. What are you doing almost on a daily basis? How has it affected you over the last year?
It's been exhausting.
Yeah.
Like it's the very beginning. It's just like having a baby all over again, but I'm a lot older, and Emily had to be turned every 3 hours because of pressure sores. So because she couldn't turn herself, it's something that you have to set your alarm. There'd be a lot of other things, the personal things that would happen as well. So you would just sort of get to bed and you'd have 3 hours sleep, and then she'd be screaming out in pain and you'd be up to her, and it all seems like a long time ago now. I mean, the days of her not sleeping unless it's like at the beginning it was every night. Now there's probably 2 or 3 nights a week that she's up, and sometimes we'll have to be sitting up with her just to get her through that. I mean, she misses her old life.
Yeah.
She misses who she was, and she misses her friends, and she hadn't lived with us for 6 years, so
Yeah.
she's had to come home, and it's been hard on the rest of the family because I am like a full-time carer, so Ron's had to miss out, and Holly and Hannah, but you know, they're amazing, and yeah, and look, there's always people worse off than us as well. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, you guys sound like an incredible family, and you know, Seamus and I were saying this afternoon, you know, Emily, you just got such a twinkle in your eye, like, you know, it's just
She used to win all the nurses and doctors over. I think that's what got her where she got in America as well. She got all their attention, and just they couldn't give her enough care. They would come in on their days off just to do extra things with her, and to this day they still email, and we're in contact all the time with them.
Yeah, it's quite an incredible story, and it definitely, I mean, resonated with Seamus and I. We, you know, I don't think, I've known anyone that's gone through that kind of ordeal, and you guys as a family, like, so happy to have met you, and it's quite incredible how it's brought you together as a family unit. And although it's such a horrible thing that's happened to you, Emily, like, it's really amazing to see like how you guys have looked after each other, and you've gotten through it, and you're such an amazing person as well. And I'm not just saying that, it's just it's good.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Well,
Riley.
obviously, Emily has nominated you guys for Riley Rose and Seamus's Random Act of Kindness. And Emily, do you have something to say to your parents?
I'll give you the microphone.
I do. So, Mum and Dad, gosh, obviously a year ago my life changed, but your life changed as well. Oh, I'm going to get all teary. But like, Mum, you had to become my full-time carer, and Dad, you had to work extra hard to support me financially and our family financially, because we weren't given any money once I landed back in Australia. And obviously for so long, not only money have you given me, but all of your time. You've missed out on doing things with your friends, and doing things for yourselves, and doing things together. And obviously I wanted to give something back to you, but financially I'm not working at the moment. I haven't been for a year, and I just can't afford it. But so that's when I got in contact with Riley Rose and Seamus, and so they're going to help you guys out, so you maybe get some time, so you maybe do get a little bit of time, you know, to yourselves, and to enjoy life a little bit. So thanks, Riley Rose and Seamus. I love you very much, and I'll hand you back to them now.
That was
Tell
so
you a
lovely.
surprise.
So we want to. We think you guys really deserve like a weekend away. We want to send you off to Melbourne. Cover your flights, and put you up in a really nice hotel, and send you off if you'd like to go to see Aladdin.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And of course dinner's on us, and we hope you have just a wonderful time. You guys are amazing, and it's the least that we could do, just
Thank you.
a little bit of a getaway.
Look, we sort of thank you so much.
Thank you.
We don't think we've done anything that parents wouldn't do, but much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys, it means the world.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Em.
Thank
She
you,
didn't
Em.
need to
God,
do
I
that.
wanted to do something.
Does that mean you don't come with us?
Thank God, you get some time away from me.
Some romance.
Oh, Romy.
Oh, so nice.
Thank you so much, guys.
No problem. So we'll work with you guys, and we'll figure out a weekend that's good. So don't stress about that, and we'll work it out, and we'll hopefully organise an awesome weekend away.
Very generous. Thank you so much. Thanks, Riley Rose. Thanks,
No
Seamus.
problem. That's
Thank
so much
you,
the least you
guys.
can do. I think we all need a hug now. That's so nice. I love you. Thank you. So nice to meet you.
You have no idea.
Bring it in.
Thank you.
Ron's the one that cries, not me. Thank you. God, you are hot. As in hot temperature.
She says it to me.
Thank you so much.
So lovely to meet you guys.
So
Oh, I know. We tried to keep it a secret.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited now. I think it's really sunk in.
Yeah, I know. It's cool. It's
I love
really
the
cool.
Oh, thanks, guys.